Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. Thanks for those that switched over from the pre-match here to the live watch-along. Unfortunately, as Layla Hale brought up, there was some issues with the turnstiles, the e-ticketing, and who knows what else. But there's a 15-minute delay, so we're expecting a kickoff here in approximately 15 to 20 minutes, or 3:15 instead of a 3 o'clock there in the UK time. So I've got a little bit of time here to sit back, relax. If you're in the UK, are you enjoying a nice glass of water, a tea, bevy, what have you? For me, it's been coffee here early in the morning over on the East Coast in Chicago, or Midwest of the States. So what we had talked about prior to in the pre-match there was a few key players not available again. Jared Branthwaite being out, so a predictable but uninspiring defensive setup. Yes, we're happy with Pickford, Tarky, and Keane in this holding down the centre back positions. Haven't been doing that well. We know that Keane is quite comfortable on the ball, but him and Taki seem to get in each other's way a little bit, and he's playing with a little bit of lack of confidence, I'd say. And we have an injured James Tarkowski. It's been slowly being leaked out over the last week or so that he was playing injured, and then through an interview, and Joe Thomas from the Liverpool Echo had mentioned it was a glute and back injury. So all we really know is he had a glute injury, but that location on the backside and is quite close to the lower back. So if they are linked, that sounds like it's a continuing injury that had started in the off season during the friendlies where he didn't appear for a little while. And to Peter Duggan's point, I sure hope not, but it wouldn't be Everton without some kind of quirky, odd issue. But it is, especially if we're giving ourselves an extra, in theory, 6 months or half a season before going into the stadium, with the expectation that it should be ready in December/January. You'd really hope that we don't have the same technical issues. I'm sure it's rather embarrassing for the Ipswich team there. They've new and fresh back to the Premier League, similar to what we had with Luton last year, where a whole bunch of time, money was invested into that stadium solely to ensure that they had heating under the grass, because that was a Premier League expectation, as well as having that pretty metallic looking set up with all the cameras for the world-class coverage that is now the expectation in the Premier League. But we'll see here if Portman Road is ready to go with a 15-minute delay. So for those joining recently, thank you. We have approximately 16 minutes now. They're showing on the coverage that I have here, which I'm watching on Peacock here in the United States, a 3:15 kickoff is the new time. So they're just showing the Ipswich fans, arms folded, looking a little bit underwhelmed and underimpressed, but they've got 15 minutes to psych themselves back up. I'm sure they've got all sorts of music playing. So Eugene McGregor, feeling pretty positive today, and I can't blame anyone for positivity, and Eugene is always about that. So Ipswich 1, Everton 4 with a DCL hat trick and Dwight McNeil on the score sheet. That would be excellent. Let's see if that bears true. Everton warming up in their sort of navy blue and teal kind of wire-framed kit, and going back now inside the tunnel and probably getting ready into their starting kit, which I believe will be the white alternate jersey rather than the kind of metallic black and charcoal gray with yellow. And Peter's having a projection of a bit of that eggy sulfur dioxide smell off the with the new stadium. Honestly, Peter, I'm not sure. For those that live in the region of Mersey, maybe you can give Peter your own projections there. We're doing a few different projections. When do we think the stadium is going to, or is the stadium going to have any issues like we're seeing right now on Portman Road? Are we expecting a win today against Ipswich? Do we expect a high scoring match? Do we expect a low scoring match? I haven't seen almost anyone projecting Ipswich to not be on the score sheet, so it seems at least Ipswich won from those that are making projections. What I'll also do is get my score scroller kicking through. So the Tottenham West Ham game did finish, and that ended up being a 4-1 result to Spurs. The first goal came from West Ham, which in surprising fashion in the 18th minute from Mohamed Kudus. And then it was a slew of goals after the 36th minute from Dane Kulusevski. Yves Bissouma in the second half got Spurs ahead, followed by a own goal that was uh, assigned to the keeper and Alphonse Areola. And then Hyun-Min Son, who's back from injury from that, I think was a hamstring, scored in 60 minutes. And then later on in that match, there was a red card to Kudus for violent conduct after a VAR decision on 86 minutes. So West Ham played with 10 men at the end there. So Emma is kind of closer to where my rational brain is sitting there. I've been feeling 1-1, but I may have been swayed by Corey's optimism, which happy to see it, of a 1-1. I'm thinking either 2-1 or to Everton, or maybe 1-1 is the likely score projection, but who knows? I think having the Ipswich defense kind of in shambles, let's say, with two of their starting back four not even in the squad, so it's not a tactical decision unless they've been, truly reprimanded for something other than the 4-1 loss to West Ham on their last match out. If they're both injured, all of a sudden they're scrambling. They have a few of their centre halves out already. And if Ben Johnson is the typical right back and they've put in one of their centre half options at that right back position, that should be giving the likes of Dwight McNeil and Iliman Ndiaye and potentially Vitaly Mykolenko, if he's so inclined to progress forward, a lot of opportunities on that left side. And the Jacob Greaves left centre back position is also being occupied by, let me bring up the lineup of Cameron Burgess, who has not played a minute from what I can tell based on the SofaScore ratings this season. So that is the starting projected lineup for Everton and Ipswich today. In terms of age, no surprise, the starting 11 for Everton is getting close to my age there. I'm 34, but 30.1 years for the starting squad in the Premier League is quite high, and that's going to be thanks to the likes of Tarkovsky and Ashley Young primarily. Michael Keane is up there in age as well as Idrissa Gana Gueye. So we have a few veterans in our squad that we've been crying out for fresh blood and replacement. We have not seen that. We have a few players out injured. For those joining, we have a 15-minute delay from the start. So it's now 3:04, I believe, in the United Kingdom, 9:04 here in the Chicago area or the Midwest of the United States. We're expecting to kick off in about 10 to 11 minutes. Everton went back into the tunnel about 5 minutes ago, and we expect them to come out here probably in the next 5 minutes. In terms of scores, I've got the ticker going on. I gave the update to the Tottenham West Ham match. All other fixtures other than the Ipswich and Everton result have started, that kicked off at the 3 p.m. time, and they are all still 0-0. Peter Duggan saying Southampton versus Leicester. That's a no-win game for us, really, isn't it, unless they draw. I think that could be a really interesting result to keep tabs on, as well as us just. I would like to watch that back and see, was it wildly open? Was it a pensive championship-type matchup where both squads were just afraid to lose because Southampton have looked under the weather for a Premier League squad so far. playing it out from the back and making a lot of mistakes. Leicester playing the low block that we were quite used to seeing when we, forgetting the manager at the moment, bear with me. He was the manager with Nottingham Forest last year. So we had, what was his name again? I'm forgetting our squad, bear with me. Steve Cooper. Yeah, so Steve Cooper quite often plays a relatively low block conservative match. For them, they have Vardy up front. They have Facundo Buonanotte, Canus and Mavididi, Skip and Ndidi playing as their two kind of defensive central midfielders, with Christensen, who we remembered from Leeds, O'Carley, Face, and James Justin. So, but that's still 0-0 with Leicester against Southampton. Southampton playing a pretty defensive for a home structure, honestly, of 5-4-1. That just screams the same challenges that the other red and white striped squad that wasn't Stoke or Brentford, but in this case, Sheffield United had last season. Really conservative, but also playing from the back with a back five rather than a lot of squad for the back five will actually have their wing backs progress, but they actually play quite deep. So come on, you Blues, or Coib Squared. Back 20 plus years ago, supporting Everton. That's quite amazing for me. Oh, for those that are in the Liverpool area, you grew up loving the toffees, and it was brought up to you probably at birth that you only wore blue and were not allowed to wear red at Christmas. For me, I had my friend Adam, who you've seen on the show with me from time to time, was a Everton supporter. Again, brought up in that culture. His parents moved to Perth from Liverpool pretty early on. I had no affiliation with Everton until I actually had a reason to, and we actually went. His brother was his cousin out in Liverpool. His name was Ian. Was in the youth development squad and got us to actually meet a lot of the Everton squad in the 2007-2008 season when they beat Sunderland 7-1, and that's what got me into it. But again, that's now you're talking 2007. So I've, my enjoyment of, or whatever you call this, love affair or frustration of being a toffee fan, it's nearly old enough to drink at this point. It's 17 to 18 years of age, but being a lifelong blue like a lot of you, I'm still relatively young to the emotions of it, but I do my best to try and relate and resonate with you from all those from Liverpool, and for those that are living away and follow the Toffees as a broad contingent. Australia and the US have quite a big following. You've seen Chad. I think having the likes of Landon Donovan and Tim Howard certainly had an impact for me. And as an Australian, getting to watch Tim Cahill in his prime, right when he was scoring goals in around the Australia World Cup, certainly didn't hurt my commitment either. So Peter Duggan has some links to Perth as well. Yeah, there is quite a British contingent, in particular from the northwest. If you want to call Manchester North Central, you're welcome to do so. But there's certainly a lot from Liverpool and some from Manchester as well, kind of to your point. So we're coming up in time here. Looks like about 6 minutes away from kickoff. We do have some score updates though. Southampton are ahead at home at St Mary's against Leicester. Cameron Archer scored on the 8th minute. There's no assist associated, but I will update the ticker there. So of those two results, I'd prefer Southampton to be ahead because, let's be honest, Southampton are less likely to stay up. So that's the result we'd probably be looking for rather than Leicester. And at the same time, there are now 2 goals scored at Craven Cottage between Fulham and Aston Villa. Raul Jimenez scored on the 5th minute and Morgan Rogers on the 9th. So Jimenez was assisted by Bernd Leno, so probably either a free kick of the ilk of what Jordan Pickford can do, or potentially it was a goal kick and a poor defensive lapse there. But and for Aston Villa, So far, it's the goal associated with Morgan Rogers. Does not say, oh, it was assisted by Jacob Ramsey in the 9th minute. And to your point, Reggie, yes, it was delayed. The news that came out, Lila was kind enough to let us know that it would delayed until 3:15. It appears that turnstiles and e-ticketing were not working. There could well be some more information or more issues than that, but at least as of now, we have a 15-minute delay from the anticipated blackout time that we are used to seeing in the UK at 3 p.m. on a Saturday. So should be going live here in about 4 to 5 minutes. We do have the Everton and Ipswich players in the tunnel. So they're showing Pickford chewing his gum or whatever he's doing, clearing his nostrils or some kind of odorant there. And they're wearing those navy blue jackets to come out to the pitch, and Ipswich wearing the royal blue. So that we're expecting, if they're about to come out of the tunnel, we looks like approximately starting on time there. And Peter, yeah, when it comes to injuries like that, really sorry to hear about it, and hopefully the recovery is as prompt and affordable, and you get back into a good state as quick as possible. We always want to wish our fellow Toffees the best. So they're coming out on the pitch now. I'm not sure. I've got the sound muted because of copyright, but I can certainly talk to the result. Not sure what music the Portman Road squad have out, knowing there was some e-ticketing issues. Maybe there's no sound at all, but you're seeing a relatively sunny event here. They're giving a standing ovation to the two squads coming out on the pitch, and they're getting all set up, probably about to play the Premier League anthem and do their whole handshake and continue from there. In terms of other results, we are still 0-0 between Manchester United and Brentford, as well as Newcastle and Brighton. Southampton, as we mentioned, is up 1-0 early there, hosting Leicester. And then we have a pretty early flurry of goals. Raul Jimenez, as well as Morgan Rogers, have scored to make Fulham and Villa equal at 1-1 at Craven Cottage. So they're showing the lineup here right now, and they've actually moved Cameron Burgess, according to the Peacock coverage, to the right back position, and Luke Wolfenden will be in the centre half spot. So what I might do is refresh my app here. I've got this one showing, but once the game gets going, I'm going to try, assuming that the internet can keep up with the live coverage, of showing the interactive player ratings as this goes along through a screen share of SofaScore. So we'll try both and see what works. So what we'll do here is try this way. If I share screen, we'll give this a try and see how that pans out. So that's the projected lineup. That should have some live updates. If there's any lags as we go through, I might have to switch back to the stagnant screenshot that I have of the lineup. But this should at least be able to show like live scores, cards, player ratings as it goes on. Typically, according with SofaScore, the first 10 to 15 minutes, they don't update a whole lot, and then they've collected enough data to give the players ratings at that point. So Reggie Murphy, welcome, says this is a must-win game. I think at minimum we cannot let Ipswich win, but it's so early on in the season, so much can happen. We haven't even changed ownership yet. Who knows what financial fair play fines happen. We don't know if Man City's going to get the book handed to them, or their lawyers going to hold up. But all we do know is we need Everton to play more, start scoring more consistently. That we have, weirdly enough, statistically, we are not scoring as much as last season, but we either seem to be held goalless, or we are starting to get a flurry of 2-goal results, which is really positive. But on the flip side, we don't seem to be able to keep a clean sheet, other than, strangely enough, the Newcastle result of 0-0. which, in my view, was largely a result of we'd rather be lucky than good, and I think that's really what we got on that result. So we're almost there at kickoff. They're showing a Sean Dyche wearing his black tracksuit and that bright yellow Everton coloured crest, which I bought myself one of those yellow jackets. Going to get that shipped to Perth, Australia. So super excited to wear that one here shortly, but didn't know if it would arrive in time while I'm staying out here in the United States for a wedding. But they Everton are going to be wearing their alternate white kit and are going to be kicking from left to right, and that means that IPSWICH are going to be going from right to left here at Portman Road. So they've just broken out of the huddles. It looks like they're just about to kick off here. So they're showing a close-up of Delap, and they're about to kick off. Interesting. They're showing an ad, so we may have to wait for this to go away. So my ad blocker is not doing a very good job of blocking the ad, so bear with that, and I think we'll be kicked out once that ad comes back, but the match has not kicked off yet, so we should be good to go still. Score-wise, on the other matches, Southampton are still up 1-0. Fulham and Aston Villa hold a 1-1 result. The players now have taken a knee for the, no need or no tolerance for racism, and the match is kicked off. So very quickly, a pass back and a cross to the left side. Jack Clark, it looks like, won the first header. Or was that Leif Davis? But he's still on the ground there from a rough landing. Doucouré received the ball, but they've pulled it back because it could be a head injury from that landing. Looks like quite a painful one, and the IPSWICH player does look like it was Leif Davis. Went over Ashley Young and landed poorly on his back, so give him a bit of a rest because he landed on the back of his head. So let's give him a minute there. So while that ad screen is still running, why don't we bring back the original starting lineup, and I'll put myself like that. So already a bit of a lengthy time delay from a header injury to Leif Davis. I hope him all the best, but I also hope that for concussion purposes, he doesn't play the rest of today. But it looks like he's got up and says he's doing okay, so we'll have to keep tabs on that. They're claiming it's going to be a drop ball, but in reality, it was Everton's possession. So IPSWICH gave it back to James Tarkowski, who passes it to Keane. Going to the left side now, Mykolenko to Ndiaye, back to Mykolenko, who's now back to Keane, looking to switch play, does a diagonal to Ashley Young, takes it on his foot, first time to Doucouré, he does a switch into Gay, touches the back off his left to Tarks. So a lot of getting some touches on the ball, getting some possession early, but very quickly kicking the ball out. Mykolenko doing a diagonal or down the channel, but overhit and apologizes to DCL. All right. So throw in. O'Shea thinks it was his ball, but it appears like it was deflected. So Mykolenko got the throw in, gives it to Gay, who drops it back to Keane. So a quick switch to Young, who's in the center here. Goes out wide to Harrison, down the channel there. McNeil presents out wide right. First touch to Young. Doucouré now in the middle. Goes back to Young. A diagonal a little bit overhit to Harrison, but challenge just enough for Burgess, who's playing in that centre-back position right now, to knock it out wide for a throw-in to Everton. So Young does a quick short pass to McNeil, who does a lovely couple touches. Doucouré's in on goal. Gana Gay cuts back and blocked for a corner kick. So positive start here for Everton, holding the ball quite well. Dwight McNeil looking comfortable in possession, and very quickly Calvin Phillips just not looking up to the task and cut around him real quick. So the corner is coming in. We see, I'm here at 3 minutes on my clock. The sun's beaming down on the players' faces, which can be always beneficial to these strikers. 2 hands up. McNeil goes to the back post, and Muric does just enough to win, to knock it over, but It appears that the referee gave a free kick for contact. Not much in that from what I can see, but just enough that I think it was Taki chasing down O'Shea with and Doucouré blocking the shot there, as well as Harrison. A bit weak, but the referees are prone to giving that to the keepers. So that's what happened there. So Muric had a cross, won the header. Now number 7 on the ball, well held by Dwight McNeil, Mikalenko, who won the ball back. So now we have it back with Pickford, who does a short diagonal to Ashley Young off the head, really poor, and gives it away to Jack Clark. Leif Davis cuts into the middle, and they go right back to the centre-back pairing, knocking it to Calvin Phillips. Burgess back to Muric. Muric playing from the back looks really poor and uncomfortable. Looks the same as what he was doing for us against Burnley, but Ipswich have come through now on that right side. The cut to the back post and an open shot for Jack Clark, and it's a good thing he's underperforming because that was a wide open opportunity for Everton, or for Ipswich to have an early goal against Everton, but lucky us, number 47 and Jack Clark missed his opportunity. So Peter saying surprised Idrissa Gueye is playing. To be honest, he didn't look mentally well enough to play for Senegal midweek, understandably so as well. Yeah, it's we hope the best for him, but and to Peter's point, watching this, we're extremely lucky that that was not a goal. That was a very quick on that left-hand side. We were talking about Everton's defensive right-hand side and Young being dangerous, but they came in on the right there through the likes of Wes Burns and looked quite dangerous. Let's see if I can get this back. So far, XG of nearly 0.3, and I'm sure that all came from Jack Clark's miss. But Everton, funny enough, are showing a lot of possession so far, but again, it is very early, and a lot of that possession for Everton has been in that central area and just passing from the back. But we are giving the ball away quite often in the middle, and Ndiaye, though, has the ball. He's taken on 3 players, drops it to Idrissa Ndiaye. Decided against the diagonal back to Mikalenko, who's got his face in the sun. So it's going to be really difficult on that side of the pitch to do much with it. Keane goes to Ashley Young, first-time cross, gives it away to Leif Davis, who doesn't do enough with it. Doucouré on the ball now, takes a nice turn, unchallenged. Dwight McNeil faces up. He's going to be passing to Keane, but they keep passing to players that are open with the sun in their face. I think this is a risky business. Mikalenko takes it to Ndiaye, who cuts in. Does a slightly underhit ball. Jack Clark intercepts. Leif Davis talks it back to Burgess. And they are set up with the ball again to Ipswich. It does look like Dara O'Shea is playing right back against Ndiaye. So I guess they're going with a... Oh! Sorry, I got a little bit distracted there. DCL nearly in on goal, had a one-on-one opportunity. I'm going to talk back, but there was a really poor interchange there between looked like Wolfenden and Calvin Phillips, an underhit back pass by Phillips, intercepted in this case by DCL. He won the tackle of his right foot on his chest and had a one-on-one with the keeper, but Muric does just enough charging forward. DCL opens up and tries to go to his left side, to the bottom right corner, and Miric's right foot did just enough to stop it. And yes, I think should have scored, but we also know that's never really the way that we expect. We don't expect that type of goal from DCL, even if he really should at this level. He's not a one-on-one by foot striker. He can strike it from outside the box and look quite penetrating, or winning the headers, but no goal there. I haven't seen Taki looking too sore yet, but maybe that's just me, Peter. But I'm also trying to keep tabs on comments in the match. We are at 7 minutes and 58 seconds here between Ipswich and Everton at Portman Road with a 15-minute delay, and the result is 0-0. Across the other fixtures, we are still at 1-0 for Southampton and Leicester. Fulham and Villa are 1-1, and all other matches are 0-0, with the early result being a Tottenham 4, West Ham 1 victory for them. So Pickford did a clearance, comfortably won by the Ipswich centre-half, but Harrison now has it, cutting down on that right-hand side. DCL gave a fake pass, so they cut back now to Trezeguet Ndiaye. Decore out wide to an advanced Mikalenko on the left, first time cross, but overhit. Harrison, though, aware and chased and won the ball back, so that's excellent. Goes to Ashley Young. McNeil covering on that right side. To Trezeguet Ndiaye. Abdoulaye Decore now. Out wide to Mikalenko. They're a little bit slow to do the cut-in pass, wanting others to run on. But Trezeguet back to McNeil. Oh, Jack Clark on it. So in this case here, we had Iliman Ndiaye receive the ball from Mikalenko on instead of a cross, a little cutback there with an excellent run, and Ndiaye looking really dangerous on that side, and O'Shea struggling to take him out of position there on the right side, and McNeil going for the strike, and Jack Clark getting his foot just in the way to block a strike on goal there. So it's 9 minutes and 40 seconds here at Portman Road. The main opportunity has come to Jack Clark, who missed a glorious chance, but then DCL had an open goal opportunity, which I think gave a lot of that XG of 0.55 so far to that chance. Leif Davis has been playing in advanced position, but not really making a whole bunch of impact after he had a rough start. A little bit of a shaky play there from Everton. Harrison crossing back across his own goal to a Michael Keane, blinded by the sun, giving the ball back. So Ipswich on the 18-yard box with, but not much doing. So lucky for Everton that Delap didn't do much with that, and it's a goal kick for Everton here at 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah, to Peter's point, that opportunity for Iliman Ndiaye, where he does that run and cuts through a couple players. Ndiaye looks like the difference maker so far. I think he could certainly be the one scoring. McNeil took a little bit too long to strike it instead of taking it first time. But the one promising thing, not saying how well he took the chance, but Everton are looking quite dangerous and creating a few opportunities. We've had two kind of imminent goal threats already, but it's been an open match because Jack Clark could easily have scored for Ipswich as well. DCL has been working well with McNeil on that right side, but they gave it away through the interaction with Harrison. Taki came in with a crunching sliding tackle, and it looks like Omari Hutchinson is on the ground rolling around in pain, so they knocked it out of bounds. The Ipswich players. Doesn't look like that should be a card, but when they do have sliding physical challenges like that, they're probably going to have a look. But Hutchinson had turned running towards goal, and Taki had an old-fashioned sliding tackle. He won the ball first and comfortably, and then his left leg followed through on Hutchinson's right side. So I wouldn't call that a yellow card, just a really strong tackle there. And thanks, Peter. I'm sure we'll catch you a little bit later. We've got a lot of the match to go as with that 15 minutes delay to the kickoff, and it is 12 minutes and 13 seconds here, and it is 0-0. So what we can quickly do is look at some of the stats so far. So I'll scroll through. On that left-hand side, we're showing 58% possession to Everton, which is quite high compared to what we expected to see. Big chances, one each. If McNeil struck that a little earlier, I think it's two big chances to Everton. And the one save from Muric on that one-on-one with DCL. We've had a couple corners, but outside of that, not too much doing. So it's still early days in this one, but quite an open fixture. And those that have to are dealing with a blackout, this would be an excellent replay so far for us to watch. Appreciate that, Reggie. I'm talking to myself here, so having something to talk to is a little bit easier. It looks like Liam Delap is having some F's and O's phrases going towards James Tarkowski, who loves such type of interactions. So Decore talking to Delap, who's complaining to anyone that'll listen. It looks like in this case, Delap did a two-handed push into the back of Tarky on his way out, which was quite a low ball thing, but maybe he's just standing up for his player in Hutchinson, who received a tough tackle a couple minutes ago. So the ball is back with Wolfdren, if I've seen his name correctly. Wolfenden, sorry, not Wolfdren. But the ball went out of bounds, so it's on the right fullback side to Ashley Young, who's looking for his options, has a one-time touch inside to Harrison, receives it back and does a overhit lazy ball towards McNeil. But credit to McNeil for putting pressure. Muric is not looking comfortable in possession the second he got that ball, where you have a camera. I think this was either Wolfenden or Burgess, not really sure. That, again, we're talking about the defensive side with a few players out from the regular back four. With Burgess and Wolfenden in today, they did not look comfortable. And Muric didn't know what to do with that. They gave him a back pass instead of him trying to clear it. He knocked it out for a corner kick. So McNeil is going, two hands to the back post, and almost there, but a little bit over hit, probably about a ball width too high, where we had the likes of Tarkovsky and Keane competing in the same real estate there. But nothing doing. Hitting that right spot, just slightly over hit. Calvin Phillips doing just enough pressure on and push, but within reason. That's expected at this level. It's a physical contact sport. So Phillips did just enough, but slightly overhit from Dwight McNeil, but that delivery is exactly where we want to be seeing that ball on the back post. Yeah, McNeil has been good. So far, he's looking impactful, but he has not. That's that touch of class that we know he's capable of. He has not been crisp enough, a little bit overhit, or in his case from that strike, did he take it first time? No, he took one extra touch too many, but looking quite dangerous. Iliman Ndiaye, Jack Harrison, and Dwight McNeil all looking quite effective so far. DCL is having some support. He's playing quite often on that channel. Everton are not just doing long balls, but are still, the second we start losing possession, just knocking it wide or knocking it long. But the likes of Iliman Ndiaye are really effective outlets right now. Ndiaye dropping out to give Mikalenko a bit of a swap. So Mikalenko now playing more advanced right now. Taki looking relatively comfortable on the ball. Took on Jack Clark and Delap. Harrison came into the middle, fell over, didn't get the foul though. It was a Calvin Phillips contact, and then Calvin Phillips right there really should be given a yellow card. The free kick was given, and then he boots it away. But I think it was just close enough to the call that it seemed like it was part of the foul. But really, I think we've seen those given as yellow cards, but in this case, not to Phillips. So quick little short passes after the free kick. Dwight McNeil looking for options, goes out wide to Jack Harrison. McNeil does the dummy run, so Harrison cuts in on his left, goes to the back post to Ndiaye. Doesn't win it, but it's still a bit of a scramble. Ndiaye for the goal! Let's go! Ndiaye. Everton 1-0. 17 minutes. We know that Ipswich are a little bit scrappy at the moment. They don't know how to clear it. They're not really lined up as a squad. They should have been easily knocked out, but they knocked it back into the right at the penalty spot. So it was teed up perfectly to Iliman Ndiaye, who we thought might be the difference maker. One of our regulars, I think it was Eugene or someone else earlier on, thought Ndiaye is going to be the difference maker for a 1-0. At the moment, that bears true. So we are now talking about an Everton 1, Ipswich 0. So I'll have to give credit to this. This was Jack Harrison with an excellent cross to an uncomfortable position. So he cuts in on his left from the right side. Leif Davis doesn't do enough, or Jack Clark. O'Shea doesn't do enough on the clearance. And it was a really, really poor play. I'm trying to see who that was, but the Ipswich player had to knock that out and didn't. It appears, who is that? number 7. So in this case, Wes Burns did not do his defensive diligence of clearing that out. In Iliman Ndiaye, who had been in the back post, making Dara O'Shea, who's out of position, uncomfortable, scored. So that's 2 goals in the season now for Iliman Ndiaye, the Senegalese. We're really glad to see him back after a slight injury in the 2 matches Senegal had against Malawi midweek. The second match, he came on as a substitute in the 30th minute. Taki did a scary little back pass end on it to Pickford, but was able to clear it. So that Everton need to settle down here. The sun is right in the eyes of the Everton players. A very shadowy pitch. We're seeing on the by the left wing side of Portman Road. We're seeing lots of appears to be Spirit of the Blues. Anytime you see clapping with the hands up for a delayed period, you have to predict that Spirit of the Blues. Yeah, Daniel, no worries. I like doing these. It just matters. It really depends on my my setup, where I'm at, what my time zone is, and I'm have just enough coffee and energy right now to be doing it. So very happy to do so, especially for those that don't have the ability to watch this live due to the blackout of content in the UK. Being out here in the States right now, or even in Australia, we have the ability to watch that because we don't deal with that blackout. In the US, it's usually through NBC or the USA channel. In Australia, we have Optus Sport. So it appears like there might be an update to the Southampton result. We have a second goal for Southampton, which is quite the surprise, but the match is still early and this score may change. But it appears that Joe Aribo scored for Southampton on the 28th minute, and they are now up 2-0. So Everton, though, going back to our match, Harrison was on the right, crossed on his right-hand side. A poor clearance, went back to Ashley Young. Decore went to Michael Keane. Mikolenko trying to do a 1-2 with Ndiaye, who's just completely dominating that left wing, occupying 2 players. Michael Keane does a diagonal cross. Great idea. Wasn't able to take that out on Leif Davis. So what we have now is a headed opportunity for a throw-in. We've been doing better with those today. So we're seeing it should be Ashley Young taking the throw-in here in a moment. Yep. And again, Michael Keane out for fun. Oh! DCL almost scoring there. So Dwight McNeil cuts in, or curves on his left foot. Calvin Phillips not prepared. Knocks it to DCL, takes a strike, and another good foot save from Muric right there. But Everton looking to extend their lead and almost did so. But it is still 1-0 thanks to a opportunistic strike from Iliman Ndiaye after Wes Burns was incapable of clearing just before. So this Ashley Young, Dwight McNeil play has happened a few times now, and Calvin Phillips is none the wiser, where he's coming in towards the ball and curves to his left-hand side, cutting in, looking quite ominous, either to strike the ball or to do a little through ball. And we'll see if they can react to that play, because that's 2 in a row now that Everton have looked quite dangerous. So we're here at 22 minutes. Everton are up 1-0 away at Ipswich at Portman Road with that 15-minute time delay. So a lot of these matches will be at about the 40-minute mark, but the Everton result is a little bit delayed. An excellent diagonal ball there, long ball to DCL, but Wolfenden did just enough. But DCL is looking quite up for this. He's had a couple goal scoring opportunities, but he's not always as comfortable on the through those one-on-one opportunities by foot. That was quite a good long ball from Tarkovsky. I called it a diagonal. That was my mistake. In this case, it was directly ahead of him, being the right centre back, hit that channel. It's going to be another corner kick for Everton. It is Dwight McNeil on Everton's right wing doing the in-swinging cross. It looked like he showed one hand, so maybe it's a short corner, and it is indeed. And but right at Muric, who didn't handle that comfortably, he knocked it down to the ground instead of holding it first time. So again, Muric looking a little bit shaky. All we need is Everton, in the way that we just did before, Iliman Ndiaye right there taking that opportunity out when when it comes to him to tap in. Everton looking and should really be be up probably 2-0 at this point. Ipswich had that glorious chance early on through Jack Clark and didn't do enough with it. But Everton in the driver's seat right now, but we need to score a second one to really drive this advantage home. Okay, Hutchinson cutting in. It looks like Michael Keane took him out and is going to receive a yellow card. So a through ball in that channel where Hutchinson went between Keane and Mikalenko, and Keane wipes him out after knocking it past him. We have no complaints here. A clear yellow card, professional wiped him out, or professional foul, let's say, knocked it. And it was Michael Keane's right leg taking out both legs of Buonanotte after it was knocked past him. So looks like Hutchinson, probably a Leif Davis, looking for an opportunity here. We're looking at probably about 23 yards out at the edge of the probably about a ball width in from the 18-yard box. So a pretty ideal opportunity for a back post strike. But it looks like instead it's going to be either Amari Hutchinson or Calvin Phillips who are talking. So Hutchinson takes a strike, goes right to the wall. Jack Clark didn't strike it first time and bounced away with a bit of spin. So he's on Everton's left side, cuts it back to Leif Davis, who decides to go to Calvin Phillips, crosses again to Hutchinson, who's going to try take on Decore for pace and not able to do so, goes for the cross. Decore does just enough to get a calf on it. It's a good defensive work, but it does go out for a corner kick. So it's going to be a Leif Davis in-swinger on his left foot, or basically the corner spot of the Ipswich right side. I'm going to be coming in here at 25 minutes and 20 seconds. Feels like a one-hander, so probably going to the front post. I'm surprised people even don't come up with more signals. That seems so obvious. Jack Harrison, after heading that ball away, looks quite proppy. I'm not sure if it's going to be something he has to run off or does he go to ground for injury. He doesn't look too comfortable at all, but the game is still playing on. Going to the back post, header away, not far away. Jack Clark wins it. McNeil goes for a tackle, pretty poor there. Jack Clark, was it a penalty? And it's given against Everton. They did not clear it. A bit sloppy there from Dwight McNeil. Jack Clark looking dangerous, bobbing and weaving on his left and right side. But it was a call comfortably given against Everton. We'll have to watch this on a replay, but to me that looked like a pretty clear penalty. So Jack Clark on it, cuts to his right. Actually, the more you look back at that, that was not a whole lot of contact. That relative to other penalties that Everton have not seen this year, that is a very, very weak penalty. Jack Clark fell over with contact right by him. To me, that is not a penalty. If DCL didn't get a penalty last week, this is certainly a weak opportunity. I'm not sure if VAR is given a look at it. It looks like they are. So they're checking a penalty for a foul. But once this is given, is there enough detail to say, so Jack Clark pulled his right foot back looking to strike it and hit McNeil. Is that truly a foul, or is that just pressing the to me, this is not a penalty. For those who are watching the match through whatever means, feel free to have your own opinion in the comments. Jack Clark is pulling his right foot back to strike and just happens to hit McNeil, who's giving him pressure. But to me, okay, they're zooming in, and it looks like McNeil's right foot is ahead of Jack Clark's right foot, but if his foot is planted first and then he strikes it into him, that to me looks like that should not be a penalty. Again, kind of really scratching my head at why that we were not given that last week, and this week Michael Oliver gave it, but it is tricky to see that contact unless you really zoom in with VAR. But we're about to see a result. They show a VAR decision. So Craig Pawson has asked him to come to the VAR screen. The Pawson, our favorite referee, the VAR official, is asking him to come. And typically, if you're bringing someone to go look at the screen, there's a good chance that they overturn it. But a good VAR refereeing team should be showing all of the information rather than only showing them the content for an overturn. But to me, if this wasn't given last week and it's given this week, we really need to have a broader conversation about what is a penalty. So they show it back. He's blowing the whistle after VAR. It's cancelled. Okay, good. We've got some consistency in the Premier League on refereeing decisions. And honestly, I don't think it's poor on the referee to call that a penalty on the first glance. It was a tangle of legs, and it looked like, depending on the camera angle, that McNeil chopped his legs. But on VAR did the job this time. I'm surprised too, Emma. But and I'm not sure that's the right way to go about it, but that's how VAR decides to kind of coordinate. If they think the referee made a mistake, hey, come have a look. Do you think we're not sure it's a pen? In my view, any of those scenarios where the referee has to go over, I think that could be maybe they made the right decision and they're giving them more confidence. But it seems almost every time they go to the VAR screen, it's an overturned decision. But you know what? I think they made the right call. Especially on a consistency basis. If Everton didn't get that last week, and that was more of a pen than this one, so not given. So anyway, going back to the match here, we're at 29 minutes 30. Iliman Ndiaye giving the ball away. Ipswich have it now in the centre half position out wide to Leif Davis. Does a ball into the middle to Hutchinson, who turns unopposed. Ndiaye not able to get to him. Jack Clark cuts in on Ashley Young, and Ndiaye able to block, but it goes back to Leif Davis, who goes now back to Burgess, who switches to Wolfenden, now back to O'Shea, back to Wolfenden, and now we're going through in the middle to Sam Morsey, who's now in the left centre back or left centre mid position and swapping with Phillips. Leif Davis looking for an option but doesn't see anything, comes back centrally to Calvin Phillips, and they start again. And yeah, Tazul, we finally got a decision, huh? Go figure. But decision suggests that we got lucky. I think it was the correct call based on what we saw last week, which we're happy to see. So as we're going along here, some score updates. We have Brighton are up 1-0 at Newcastle. So I'll update the ticker there. So we have Newcastle 0, Brighton 1. And it was scored by Danny Welbeck and assisted by Georgina Ruta. Yeah. So almost all the other matches are at halftime or thereabouts. It's still 0-0 between United and Brentford. Fulham and Villa, after a very open first 10 minutes or so, is at 1-1. Southampton have a 2-0 lead at Leicester, which is a huge result for them at St. Mary's, and certainly helps Everton's cause of the likes of Leicester, who are looking more likely to be a relegation challenge for Everton this season, are up comfortably 2-0. But let's talk about Everton again. We are now at about 31, 32 minutes here on the clock, and Everton are up 1-0. Certainly the better squad so far, but Everton have had some close calls. That Jack Clark, oddly enough, has been the most impactful player for Ipswich. He should have scored early and has just enough about him to bob and weave and cause the defenders some panic, but that penalty was not given. He fell to ground after Dwight McNeil was really in close quarters with him. He put his right foot, I believe, in front of Jack Clark's right foot when he goes to strike, and Jack Clark kicks McNeil's leg, and doesn't get to the ball, but because his foot was there first, it was then deemed not a penalty, so the call was overturned by Craig Pawson in VAR. So maybe luck is turning our way. So Al Clark, for consistency, it's not a penalty. It's clear now if the attacker kicks the defender between the ball, it's not a penalty. If they're starting to call that consistently again, in my view, fantastic. We have a consistent refereeing decision that we know what to go with and what to expect. Last season seemed all over the place. I guess it's it should be very similar to the principle in basketball. If someone is in the running lane first and then you run into them, then you ran into them versus they tripped you. And I think that should really be a similar principle here. And Peter, I'm sure you'll get to see that commentary back. But in my view, that was not a penalty if we're being consistent with what we've seen this season. Because if the defender got there first, then the player kicked the defender versus tripping them. So really a nice relief to see consistent refereeing going on here. And Everton for right now are up at 33 minutes and 43 seconds. It's in right around the halfway line for Ipswich. Wolfenden looking for a passing option. Calvin Phillips isn't taken on. So Morsey and Phillips are dropping quite deep. So we're seeing the three right-sided defenders in Burgess, Wolfenden, and O'Shea kind of playing as a back three. And then we have Morsey and Phillips being kind of very short passing options. And Leif Davis being that left winger that we know he can do so well. Morsey coming in, looking for an option, doesn't choose Jack Clark. Instead goes a little bit wider to O'Shea, who slightly overhits it, but the ball is still in play on the right side. Crossed by Morsey, to Wes Burns, but to no avail. Still has his error on the lack of a clearance led to the opportunity for Iliman Ndiaye to put Everton up 1-0, and he did not miss. So we'll look at, we're browsing here. So key points, Michael Keane got booked at 24 minutes after a professional foul on Amari Hutchinson. They didn't take advantage of it. Prior to that, Iliman Ndiaye scored his opportunity. If we're looking at the attacking momentum, Ipswich are looking more dangerous, but in my view, they are not actually as effective as you'd think in possession, but they do have a corner kick, so let's go back to that. So to 35 minutes, it's on the left side. It looks like a one hand up for Leif Davis, so probably a short in-swinger, which is what it was, and it goes cleared by Jack Harrison, whose proppy knee soreness from before does not look like it was cold. Idrissa Gay here doing excellent on the quick counterattack. DCL in on goal. No options though. Iliman Ndiaye was not able to get there in time. He had three players on him, so DCL did the best he can with that situation. Knocks it off the defender, and it's going to be a corner kick for Everton. So a clever counterattack right off a poorly executed Ipswich corner that could easily have been a goal-scoring opportunity, but Everton couldn't get players back fast enough, and Sam Morsey did his job as a captain, clearing and doing the defensive work, but it's going to be a out-swinging corner for Dwight McNeil here at 36 minutes and 25 seconds. It looks like it's a very short corner, poorly executed. Keane couldn't get to it in time, but Ipswich clear and goes to Ashley Young, who's the deepest player for Everton, who knocks it to Mikalenko. McNeil playing at the left wing position at the moment. Decore now occupying that spot on the left wing. There's an overlapping pass from Mikalenko, who doesn't take it, goes to McNeil. It's a quick cross. One of those grass cutters hit pretty strong, but right at DCL, but I don't think he was expecting it. But in this case, knocked off appears to be his right calf. If that was a little bit on a different part of his body, that could have been a one-time strike in on goal, but not to Everton's favour right there. Miric looking to clear. He recognised DCL from last season and didn't tempt fate again, but still not looking very comfortable playing from the back or Ipswich. They've got Calvin Phillips in the ball now. Cuts back to the centre half, who switches it now to Burgess, who's got Leif Davis out wide left. Goes back to Burgess. Uses Morsey. But yeah, having 4 to 5 players back for Ipswich behind with Everton well set up is ideal for Everton to not be able to break them down. So Everton looking quite comfortable at the moment, according to the SOFA score. Like likelihood of scoring, yes, Ipswich are in possession, but they're not doing much with it. they're on the fringes. They're not really able to break down the hard shell of Everton, the effective Dyche players behind the ball setup. So Dyche's squad is set up well drilled right now. 4-4-2 out of possession, with Dwight McNeil playing as the second striker out of possession there. Taki went up for a header against Delap. Looks like he either won a free kick or landed on his head to win the ball back. We'll see if they do a replay. If not, it is still 1-0 here for Everton against Ipswich away at Portman Road. So quite an exciting result here so far. Long ball. DCL challenge. The ball is now back with Iliman Ndiaye. Garnegay looking for an option to a diagonal to Ashley Young in an advanced spot. He's got Harrison, doesn't choose him, cuts in, changes his mind, goes back out to Harrison. Harrison cuts in on his left. Oh, that was interesting. It was right on the channel for DCL, but Burgess did just enough to knock that out. So it's another corner kick for Everton. Harrison is looking quite effective cutting in on his left foot. We know he's not a natural right footer. At the moment, there's a few scenarios where Ipswich are not anticipating left-footed players on Everton's right side cutting in, which is surprising at a Premier League level. But if that's the case, we have left-footed players on the right wing keep cutting into the middle and having striking opportunities. We'll take it every day. So it's another corner. 2 hands up for Dwight McNeil. So expecting back post, we see Calvert-Lewin and Taki and Keane running into the box. They do a short corner, though, with a flick back from Mikalenko. Goes under the head of Keane. McNeil wins it. He takes on a couple challenges. Michael Keane! Michael Keane! Let's go! 2-0. We're at 39 minutes and 58 seconds. It's the second goal for Everton. It's 2-0. Oh, and it's right in front of the Everton fans. Fantastic. Keno, we give you flack, but man, can you score an excellent goal. So when you're scoring, we love you. Fantastic and well earned. Keane's been great today. Tarkovsky's looked quite comfortable as well. So we're going back on this. It was a short corner to Mikalenko and a back heel to McNeil. Taki won the header, and then it was a short clearance. McNeil then gets the assist. He goes into the left channel, and Michael Keane, on his weaker foot, buries it into the top of the net. Just excellent. So now we have a 2-0 lead at Portman Road, and it's about at 41 minutes on the clock here. So if you hear me excited, you heard correctly. Everton are now up 2-0. Michael Keane, this strike, it's brilliant. It was away from his body, hit with power, great, excellent technique. I feel like Michael Keane needs to teach DCL how to strike the ball with his feet. Honestly, I don't understand. I do understand. We talk about why he was worth a bit of money when we brought him in. When it comes to prowess by foot, he is excellent, and he's showing it right here. There's a free kick opportunity that was taken by Leif Davis, but well chased by Everton, and they didn't do much with it. So we are now here at about 41 minutes and 50 seconds. They're looking at a offside opportunity, but no, it appears like it might have been challenged against. Oh, never mind. They're not showing the replay, but it appears it's a goal kick for Everton. Yes, Danny. I'm not saying I'm getting excited for the win right now. What I am excited is that we are up 2-0. All right, long ball and out by Pickford, free kick given away. So we have Cameron Burgess wins out. Ball back with Burgess now. Back to Wolfenden. Back to O'Shea. Yeah, Ipswich are not having really breaking Everton down. Jack Clark is kind of dropping deep just to get a foot on the ball here. Burgess comes out wide to Leif Davis. Morsey interacting with Jack Clark again. They're not seeing any options down that right side. They keep trying, but they're well set up and well drilled, Everton. So credit to Dyche in the setup so far. We are shutting down Ipswich at almost every chance at the moment. There was a really early chance that could have put Everton down 1-0, but they did not take advantage with Jack Clark's opportunity. And Everton are looking comfortable, even with Ipswich holding possession. They're not really doing much with it, not able to cut through the middle. So Everton are controlling the key areas here. Defensively holding up a 4-4-2, but not really pressing that intensely either, because there's no need to at this point. Once they win the ball back, DCL holding, receiving quite well there off Mikalenko's pass. Keane's on it, goes to Tarkovsky, has Decore there as a pivot option, goes straight back to Keane, goes out wide to the left. Ndiaye now to Decore. Jack Clark takes it off Decore, nicks it off his feet. Delap goes to ground. Referee goes for a call. We'll have to look back. It looks like it may have been a foul. There was a little bit of pressure. Looks like it was hands on the back. Let's have a look here. So Delap comes in. Addressing Ndiaye. Yeah, he nudged him. I think that's fair to say. Decore apologizes for the mess up. He tried to take on Delap, and Clark was able to get to the second ball and give it back to Delap. And Ndiaye did what he could to put some pressure on. But it is an opportunity here for Ipswich to take a strike from about, let's say, 22 yards out. Just a little bit off the center here, so there's going to be quite a big wall, probably 4 to 5. And there's 6 minutes of extra time here. Looks like it's going to be either Calvin Phillips, but Calvin Phillips is eyeing up the strike, so it looks like it's probably going to be him, between him and Leif Davis. So we'll see who takes it. So 4 in the wall. And a little bit overhit, so the ironic cheers, I'm sure, coming up from the Everton fans. And it's a goal kick to Everton. So yeah, 4 in the wall. Wasn't too far away, but he does not have the James Ward-Prowse prowess, let's say, of chipping it over the wall and cutting it back in. Yeah, Tazul, I completely agree with you. It's quite a scary moment when that happens, but I think he's been relatively solid today, but he's always prone to a sloppy giveaway in a key area, but so far it hasn't come back to bite us. Lucky for us. Harrison doing quite well here on his own, taking on 2, but kind of body checks Jack Clark. Jack Clark looking quite good on the ball there. Hutchinson trying to take on both Mikalenko and Ashley Young. Mikalenko coming out of position to do it, and Everton winning the throw-in. Phillips trying to argue on it, but clearly a throw-in for Everton. So Ashley Young has it in the right around the halfway line. Not able to watch that one as well as the Everton match, Peter. So if there's anything key going on, feel free to add to that. It looks like they probably have just started off the second half due to the time delay here. Jack Harrison coming in. He cuts on his right, was blocked, comes right back to Harrison. Got an overlapping run, doesn't take it from McNeil. Abdoulaye Decore goes to Harrison. It looks like he's bundled over by Calvin Phillips, who's not happy with it, but clearly a foul. Jack Harrison's been good today, ladies and gentlemen. He was instrumental in the goal scoring opportunity. He's able to cross on both sides. He's cutting in. Basically, the attacking front 3 to 4 for Everton are causing Ipswich all sorts of problems. They may have 5 members back half the time, but they don't seem to be able to handle Everton after they take a first touch. They're just skinning them every time. So it's a really good sign here. Dwight McNeil looking like he's going to strike it on his left foot. No, gives it to Ashley Young. Well, it was on target, beat the wall, but not enough venom by any stretch to trouble Muric. So there was only 3 in the wall. It was kind of a curling strike with, 5 to 10 pace on it. So we're never going to beat the keeper. But we're now here at 48 minutes and 8 seconds on the clock. Everton are up 2-0. at Portman Road and in the driver's seat. But as we know, Everton fans and for Ipswich fans or any Premier League squad, we have been guilty of giving away 2-goal leads before, so this is not done and dusted by any means. Southampton and Brighton have now started the second half. Southampton are up 2-0, as we mentioned. Brighton are up 1-0. Tarky going to Pickford. Pickford doing a option to Harrison, but doesn't reach him. So I'm here at 48 minutes and 50 seconds. Leif Davis has a throw-in option, drops it back to Burgess, who switches back to Hutchinson, or Wolfenden, sorry. Goes to Morsey. They're looking for options. Wolfenden trying to play more advanced. They're playing little diamonds, but really not breaking down Everton at all. So they're trying to come in through the middle again. Wolfenden going to Burgess, going to Morsey, back to Burgess. Dwight McNeil chasing down and forces a turnover where they try and do a through ball way over hit towards Jack Clark and out for a goal kick for Everton here at 49 minutes and 38 seconds. Yeah, six minutes. I missed that. Apologies there. I did not notice the 1-0 on my SofaScore app, but you are correct. It looks like Ethan Pinnock scored really late with an assist from Mikel Damsgaard in the 5th minute of stoppage time in the first half. So I'll update that score there. Yeah, Everton seem to have all the answers right now and letting Ipswich have the ball, and they're not doing a whole lot with it. But Everton want a free kick in the halfway lane. Doucouré goes to Idrissa Gueye. Mikalenko in quite an advanced position finds Dwight McNeil, drops it back to Keane. The sun is now kind of covered, or the shade has now covered the entire pitch, so dealing with the sun is not going to be an issue in the second half now, and the Everton defenders looking a lot more comfortable as a result. Calvin Phillips has it, going back to Leif Davis. Everton shutting down that entire left wing and are doing an excellent job. Dwight McNeil receiving the ball after a poor clearance from Ipswich. McNeil got it back again. So Ipswich are not keeping hold of the ball when Everton are pressing, and Everton, as we know with Dyche, is going to win those. You go long, win the second ball, and it's really working against Ipswich today. And it looks like we're at half time. So it is 2-0 to Everton here at halftime. I'm going to get myself, go for a quick break, get a refreshment. But for right now, it is 2-0 Everton, and I'll be right back with you shortly for some halftime content. But a really good position. We're in the driver's seat right now, Everton fans. But until give me about 5 minutes, and I'll be right back. But yeah, to Talzul's point, I'm not confident either. It's a little bit too early for that. So I'll give you some nice elevator music until I come back, and I'll talk to you shortly. Okay, I'm back. Looks like we might have an admin or a Ryan join us. I'm not 100% sure yet, but let's go through some of the comments while I've been away. So we have from TJ Mid another world-class finish from Michael Keane, from Amanda Stevens, one of our premium subscribers. We need to see out the first 20 minutes of the second half without a goal. Norteal saying what a half for Danny Ellis. That's when the trouble usually starts, Amanda. So first 20 minutes. So really what we're talking about is, can we defensively and physically compete with an Ipswich side that's at home with a 2-goal lead? Based on what we've seen so far, they seem to not have answers. But you know what? Now is the exact time that Ipswich will come back into the dressing room, talk about a tactic of a different way to try and break down Everton, because they are not effective on that left side right now. Their best chances through on goal have been through a couple options, one of which has been Jack Clark. So if I put myself up here and we modify this slightly. So Jack Clark has been quite impactful. Didn't score his chance. He was originally given a penalty from Michael Oliver. It was overturned through VAR. Funny enough for us, we got fortune favours Everton today, strangely enough. Amari Hutchinson has been looking dangerous in the channel. Delap, he's got a 6.5 rating, but to me hasn't really done much other than getting annoyed with Takuri and James Tarkovsky. Wes Burns was the culprit of a really poor clearance opportunity that led to the first goal for Everton. That was scored by Iliman Ndiaye. The defensive line for Ipswich is really not comfortable at all. They've got Cameron Burgess and Wolfenden, who are getting a lot of the ball but don't seem comfortable in possession either, and are trying to build up through the middle with Calvin Phillips. Dara O'Shea kind of playing as you'd call it a hybrid right back slash right centre back, with quite often in possession. Leif Davis playing a really advanced role next to between Harrison and Young. And then Ndiaye, anytime he's getting the ball on that left side, he's just running rings around Ipswich. And I think for right now, he's been my man of the match. Michael Keane had a blinder of a goal, so credit to him there. And he has been looking quite comfortable in possession. Early on, there was a lot of sun in the eyes of the players, and they kept giving Michael Keane the ball, and he was actually holding himself up quite well. So again, credit where credit is due. Michael Keane has been doing quite well. I would say he's the other goal scorer, so in contention for man of the match to date. But Michael Keane, we've seen this happen before, where you score a goal and we get nervous about, well, are you going to let one in later on in the match? So we still have a good 45 minutes to go before we actually really learn what's happening. For a final result, we've seen this happen before where Everton were up 2-0. What we really need to do is shut down or come up with a response to whatever Ipswich throw at us in the second half, because they got to come up with something. Exactly what, we're not 100% sure yet. To Amanda Stevens' point, we do not need to panic when we go ahead. Our players seem to go dizzy and give the ball away for a goal. It's partly that. It's partly looking leggy, and if one goal comes in, they start to look nervous. So the reality is, don't let them get one. That's when heads drop, and heads shouldn't drop anyway. But they're human, and they seem quite vulnerable in the back. For Nortil says we need to keep Ndiaye on for a full 90 minutes. I don't disagree with that at all. The question is if I know maybe Ndiaye wasn't playing a full 90 last season. It seems that Dyche was protecting his minutes, but at the same time, every time Ndiaye has the ball today, he's able to take on 2 players, if not 3. So if that's the case, keep giving him the ball. Don't make the same mistake we did against Bournemouth by subbing him off too early and running out of options. Another question from Lila. How does Michael Keane know where the net is, but DCL doesn't? I think the real question, Lila, is, or knowing the back of the net, DCL scores by head and less so by feet in one-on-one scenarios, and those have been all of DCL's opportunities. So there's been a few foot saves by Muric and a couple of these awkward opportunities that have come Dominic Calvert-Lewin's way. There was one just before the half-time where Dwight McNeil looked like he was striking on goal, and it just accidentally came DCL's way, but he couldn't get it out of his leg fast enough. For Peter, he's worried about the substitutions. Dyche has a habit of cooking it all up with the wrong changes, and I can see that potentially coming on in the second half. And Lila's also happy for a point. I know we're excited not just to get a point, but the reality is that we're in a prime position for what seems to be the third time now being up 2-0. The only difference here is Aston Villa are not, or Ipswich are not Aston Villa, and Ipswich are at home. But let's be honest, we have had the answers. Keep the same team and don't change anything at halftime. And I'm not sure if that's been facetious. For right now, I think making a change isn't the right move because we have had the answers. But it's being aware of the second we start to see substitutions from Ipswich, what are we doing about it? Are we just reacting or sort of retroactively responding, or are we taking proactive action? For right now, we've often said, okay, well, let's bring in some substitutes. So let's look at who we have, because in my view, the substitute options right now, I don't see a lot of them making a whole lot of impact on this team, but maybe I'm wrong. So let's look at this one. If I get my face set up correctly. Where are we? Nope, not that one. No. Where are we? This one. There we go. So on the bench right now, we have 2 keepers, so not a lot of flexibility there. Jake O'Brien, he's not coming on the way Keane and Tarkovsky have been playing today. We shouldn't be changing up the back line. Ashley Young has held his own at right back and cutting down Leif Davis with interaction with Jack Harrison. So again, I don't see why Coleman would come on unless there is an injury to someone. Oro Mangala, maybe. he would come on to control possession. Maybe if we don't want sloppy mistakes from Abdoulaye Doucouré after he does a good job winning the ball back, then gives it away. Maybe you want Mangala on the ball just to hold a bit of possession and not give Ipswich the opportunity to hold on to it. Harrison Armstrong is going to be running around and chasing, but right now, Idrissa Gana Gueye has been doing a great job as well, and I think Mangala would come on first. So really, what you're looking at would be the likes of a Nathan Patterson or a Roman Dixon as a right winger option, or maybe Beto, who's hidden under the subscribe now emblem, coming on for DCL at some point. But we don't have the bench option we often have. So what is the right call? I want to see something, but it's not a glaringly obvious decision right now. If someone starts to look leggy, we have right back and right midfield options. If either Ndiaye or McNeil start to look leggy, that's when we probably want to bring on Abdoulaye Doucouré into the number 10 role, and Mangala takes that spot in the center. If we're ahead by a bit, like maybe let's say we're up 3-0 and we're at 85 minutes, I know we get paranoid as Everton fans that will give the game away, but at that point, maybe that's where you bring on the likes of Harrison Armstrong because he's got the legs for it, just to chase down and keep it competitive. But let's update. So halftime break is nearly over, so I'm going to see where this the banner came in so I can unhide that one. So I'll have to update the ticker because I've not been keeping tabs on that, but we do have some change in results. We have Leicester has now scored. So from a 2-0 result, it is now 2-1. We have 2-1 in favour of Southampton. Man United have equalised, so it is 1-1. We have Aston Villa 2, Fulham 1 at Craven Cottage. And I think that's it. My tickers were slightly off, so apologies there, but that's the setup. So yes, it's right here we go. As Notil said, we are back. Match is back on, so let's get my screen set up correctly to cover the match. There we have it. Okay, so a free kick pretty quickly, right around the halfway line. Pickford has it. He's going long to the right-hand side. Michael Keane is playing in an advanced position. No, that was Tarky, sorry. Advanced position. Doucouré received it, does a sloppy pass to McNeil. Iliman Ndiaye is chasing down Hutchinson, challenging, shutting down the play. Well done right there by Ndiaye. Really slowing down the counter-attack, caused Gana Gueye to receive the pass, so excellent from Ndiaye right there. Doucouré passes it to Tarky to Keane. Gana Gueye drops short as the double pivot option, knocks it to Mykolenko, back to Keane. He's been quite physical in the match, Notil, but he's giving the ball away as well. So you've got to kind of hedge your bets on when he's giving the ball away versus winning it back and when to take him off, because we don't have too many midfield options that have his physicality either. So diagonal, one bounce pass from Keane to Ashley Young. Tarky looking for a passing option to Doucouré. He turns, passes over to Keane, who's looking for options, doesn't see much, has Mykolenko. Again, not really too much going on right now. Now he's passed to Keane. Doucouré is now open in the middle, doesn't really advance too quickly, but he's unchallenged, so he comes up a little bit further forward, finds Mykolenko. Ndiaye being hassled, two hands in the back, and no foul given, so Ndiaye's knocked it out of bounds with some pressure. Idrissa Gana Gueye, excellent there, winning the interception, gets his shirt pulled, but they call play on. Dwight McNeil on it now. Goes wide to Harrison, a little bit overhit, cuts back to McNeil, but a little bit overhit in this case. Jack Clark on it now, cutting through the middle. Has Hutchinson as a wide option. Oh, sorry, was it Wes Burns? as a wide option. But again, so that at this point, Abdoulaye Doucouré was saying when he gives the ball away, really poor, but his defensive work, chasing back, winning back possession, cannot be challenged in this match. He's actually done a really stand-up job shutting down shop on any counter-attack or challenge. So Dukes has done well on that front, but he has been scaring us on possession. He keeps receiving the ball as the number 6 there, but he's now turning and going with not much pressure on him. Mykolenko tries to tuck it in first time, but O'Shea blocks it. So it's a throw in here on 48 minutes and 13 seconds. Yeah, Corey, I agree. I think he has been looking quite good. He has been progressing up the field with some confidence in the last few matches. He hasn't really, and part of that is the right side of Ipswich just doesn't look really well formed right now. So he has a lot of room, and Ndiaye is so effective up front that he doesn't have too much defensive responsibility. So I think that could well be it. Across into the middle, picked up by Miric. Cross by Harrison, just a little bit off. So let's look at some results. Fulham have a red card. So we now have Joachim Anderson has a professional foul. So they are down to 10 men, but it is still 2-1. Other score results, we have 2-0, as we know, for Everton Ipswich. Man United have now gone on to be ahead. So they are now ahead 2-1. I can give you some score up. The scorers there here in a moment. It's Garnacho on the 47th minute, and Rasmus Højlund scored in the 62nd minute. Brighton is still up 1-0. Leicester scored through Facundo Buonanotte, who is my fantasy last-minute pick for today, but he scored in the 64th minute to make it a 2-1 result. It's still in favour of Southampton, so that's handy for us. But outside of that, Everton have been looking quite good. DCL on that left channel nearly gave Doucouré an option. Ipswich are looking really poor at breaking out of defence. Everton have intercepted again. Harrison trying to go to the back post, but Miric doing just enough. Miric by foot, not very good. Miric with his hands and for like shin and foot saves has been keeping Ipswich in this match. So they're doing a replay here of DCL taking on almost the entire Ipswich squad, and did quite almost there. It was blocked last minute by Burgess, where it looks like the back of his left ankle for actually quite an excellent block, but that could have been a tap in for Doucouré right there. So DCL as well doing quite well. So Harrison advanced and taking on Davis. Davis is not defensively doing enough, and Harrison is having a field day cutting in on that left side, because guess what? Leif Davis doesn't have a right foot either. So in that case, Harrison tucking in on his left and Davis can't defend on his weaker foot. It gives a huge advantage for Harrison on that side, and he's really giving giving Ipswich some headaches right now. In all honesty, I do worry about Mangala having to track back and make recovery runs, because in all honesty, he looks half a stone overweight and too slow at the moment. Maybe that's a component of it. I think at minimum, he doesn't have the same build as the likes of Doucouré and doesn't have the same spring in his step and anticipation or anticipatory skill of an Idrissa Gana Gueye, which is actually a unique skill that Gueye has compared to a lot of players. DCL here, they're showing a highlight where he received on his right side, spun to his left, and took a first-time strike. And again, he's not a prowess by foot, but could easily have scored there again. So DCL is high up in confidence, and we are still challenging. So some score updates. It looks like Sevilla have now scored a third. So I'll update here in a moment when a break happens. Idrissa Gana Gueye goes to Mykolenko. Got back to Gana Gueye, back to Mykolenko. Keane drops back, finds Mykolenko. Very lazy press from Ipswich, so a lot of easy possession for Everton. Michael Keane, slightly overhit to Ashley Young, but does well to keep it in, knocks it to Harrison, cuts in. Now Doucouré's running, being challenged by Delap, but does just enough. Gana Gueye challenged, but is able to give it to Mykolenko. Ndiaye now, given too much space by O'Shea, and looks like Calvin Phillips just two-handed the back of Harrison to win a throw-in. Oh, sorry, a free kick. So I know we haven't talked highly about Harrison throughout this year, but in some respects, Harrison has been the dark. He hasn't scored, but he has made a huge impact on this match and keeping the right side of, or the left-hand side of Ipswich. How do I put this right? They've kept them occupied. So Leif Davis has had to be held to account as well. And I think Leif Davis just can't use his right foot enough defensively, and it gives Harrison a lot of opportunity to cut into the middle. And there's a lot of interchange, which is great to see between Ndiaye, Harrison. Oh, that was risky. Ashley Young did just enough. There was a soft pass back through the middle, one of those golden rules of what you're not meant to do, Vitaly Mikulenko. But a good thing Ashley Young did just enough, but we got lucky. That was one of those passes through the middle that could have been intercepted for a goal, but Everton did just enough. So Ashley Young has the ball for a throw-in after that kind of, let's say, a volleyball of a set of bounces there. He rolls it back to Taki, goes to Pickford, passes back to Taki, does a poor left-footed clearance, but goes right on the head of DCL. And now Everton are in. Iliman Ndiaye, let's have a look. Oh, he had Dwight McNeil to choose from, didn't take it, and was a little bit under hit, but that could easily have been an opportunity right there. So that clearance from Taki on his weaker foot was well handled by DCL. Again, we're talking excellent target play, and we have runners in behind. So both, in this case, Iliman Ndiaye and McNeil teaming up quite well, but weren't able to convert their opportunity. So we have Wolfenden going out wide. Now we've got to Murray Hutchinson. A weak opportunity handled by Keane, headed to Gay. Decore does just enough back to going to Gay. He takes on two, gets fouled by Hutchinson and wins the foul. They call play on. So Decore goes out wide to Ashley Young. He does a touch into the middle to McNeil, who takes on Clark, makes him look silly. So there's a little 1-2 with Decore, and McNeil's away. Goes out wide to Harrison, first time. Poor clearance from Wolfenden, so Harrison chased it again, causing a long ball that was giving Everton back possession with Ashley Young. Harrison again on that left side gets challenged, but falls over and doesn't win the free kick. Decore winning the ball back again. So a lot of that didn't look like a foul. What are you talking about? Everton players looking quite disappointed at Michael Oliver, but they're calling that a foul. Maybe it was a handball. Hard to tell. But Everton winning the ball back quite effectively, looking quite dangerous, and seem to have all the answers. But let's be honest, we still have at least 40 minutes left of this match. Anything can happen. O'Shea comes into the middle there to Morsey, who's charging through, plays to a target man of Delap, but Taki had him covered. Goes a little 1-2 with McNeil, but doesn't have the leg speed, but it was a good idea passing to Ashley Young. The left fullback in Cameron Burgess, the left of the three centre-backs in possession for them, goes back to Miric, and now it's back to Calvin Phillips. So they have 5 players behind the ball, which is not a recipe for breaking down Everton. On a two-goal lead, Everton are comfortably set up by the time they try and take us on. And again, Iliman Ndiaye doing excellent defensive work. Wes Burns tries to take him on and was unsuccessful. Long ball to DCL, a little bit too short, so Wolfenden was able to take over. Calvin Phillips goes for the long ball to Delap. It's him versus Taki. Delap does just enough to keep it in. There's a little one-time touch to Amari Hutchinson, gets past Keane, but too much on it, and Pickford comfortably handles it. So you were mentioning some scoring updates, so let's check that. So Southampton, it's now 2-2. And there's a red card in that match, which was given to Ryan Fraser for last man foul. So there's now 2-2 between Southampton and Leicester. So that result is now 2-2. Jamie Vardy scored a penalty to equalise. Man United, second goal, as we said, was from Rasmus Højlund, so they're up 2-1. Fulham also had a last man red card from Joachim Andersen, which does not help them. And there was an own goal by Fulham from Issa Diop. So it is now 3-1 Aston Villa. And outside of that, it is still 1-0 to Brighton away at Newcastle. So we're at 58 minutes here and 19 seconds. Dara O'Shea on the ball there, does a diagonal out wide to Wes Burns. And Ndiaye again, excellent tracking back. He blocks off his left side. It goes off his ankle and spins out for a corner, though. So it is a corner kick opportunity. Still no substitutes for either side, but 60 minutes seems to be the golden time window that managers are justified. And if you make a decision before then, it's a poor tactical game. So after 60 minutes seems to be the normal time to see it. So we haven't seen anything yet, though. No evidence of either team warming up. It is a corner kick, 2 hands up for Leif Davis on an in-swinging left-footed corner kick. Now he's changed his mind after a short corner decoy, so now it's 1 hand up. So let's see what happens now. So kind of middle, it was handled by a combination of Tarky and part of a fist of Pickford. Quickly back in from Phillips, won by Burgess, and the second ball from Wolfenden was not effective and picked up by Pickford. Does a quick throw out to Ashley Young. McNeil's a short option, doesn't take him, instead does a diagonal to Iliman Ndiaye, who's on the right side now. Harrison in the middle is a cutback option. DCL, what are you doing? He's got the keeper on the ground. Oh, he was a little bit shut down, but he fooled Muric, took him to ground, but wasn't able to do anything with it. But again, excellent quick counterattacking, well-timed run, but also very much poor and unchallenged by Ipswich, and quite an effective cutback to DCL, where they had Hutchinson, Sam Morsey, and the keeper all kind of left scrambling, but just enough bodies where DCL couldn't clear it out of his feet and find Harrison, who was another option. Yeah, still nervous. I don't think any logical, rational Everton fan thinks otherwise the way we've been playing. But right now, Everton have had all the answers, but defensively doing excellent. Iliman Ndiaye doing his work. Abdoulaye Doucouré and Gana Gay doing their job as well. A lot of off-the-ball running by McNeil shutting down the play. And Ipswich are still playing quite defensive, having 3 centre-backs and their 2 defensive central midfielders and Phillips and Morsey playing deep as passing options. So they're basically having 5 men behind the ball, so giving Everton the middle of the park. So waiting to see if that changes anytime here soon. So I'd say so far, yes, we have played quite well. We still have 30 minutes left, so there's a lot can happen in this match. And if we are not challenging Ipswich enough, and we're playing defensively in a low block, then things change. But for right now, Everton are challenging on counterattacks and have held up well, but I do not want to jinx us either. Another effective cross by Keane there, due to a poor cross by Wes Burns. DCL, effective target, takes on Wes Burns, and that was excellent. DCL is having quite the match too. Doucouré, quick one-time pass. Now going out wide to Harrison. McNeil's pass as he cuts in on his left, cuts back to his right. Leif Davis has a fall-in tackle, but does just enough. Gets it out to Morsey. Does a short pass to Jack Clark. Gana Gay shuts him down. Now Gana Gay on Phillips. That was not a free kick, ref. Calvin Phillips was poor, got lucky, and Gana Gay really was frustrated with that. So we are seeing Wes Burns being subbed off for number 10. Let's see who number 10 is. So we're getting and O'Shea is coming off as well. So let's see who that is. So, sorry, just popping up my screen's a little bit wrong there. So we're seeing number 10 come on. So Connor Chaplin, and I think a couple others. So bear with me while I give us the substitutes and updates there. It appears like we have. So O'Shea went off, as did Wes Burns. So we have Harry Clark at right back now and Connor Chaplin in that right midfield position. Delap coming out on the right side, tucks in on his left, looking for a strike on goal. Low and powerless. Poor clearance though. Calvin Phillips has an option. Goes out wide to Harry Clark. One time pass to Phillips. Hutchinson finds Clark again, back to Phillips. Across the back post, but a really poor cross from Calvin Phillips over hit. So we'll take that every day of the week. All right, 2-0. So yes, what I mentioned before, and I had to find the players. So Dara O'Shea is off, and number 2 brought a very short-haired or skin-shaven cut from Harry Clark on the right side, and Connor Chaplin is a little bit further advanced from the right back in Clark in the kind of right attacking midfield spot of their 4-2-3-1. So Ndiaye has it again to Harrison. Again, doing a really good job holding up possession and occupying a lot of players on that side. Ndiaye to Doucouré. Doucouré does just enough to give it to Mikalenko. Mikalenko back to Keane. Keane to Taki. Trying to pull a couple players with him. Duke's cut short, but instead he does a long diagonal. But a little bit under hit. But the header goes to Mikalenko, receives it back. And now a very comfortable piece of possession here for Michael Keane. Gives it to Pickford, puts his 2 hands down saying, everyone calm down, I'm just going to hoof it really long. Changes his mind. Goes to Taki, because Taki's probably going to. No. Okay, they're pretending to go long and doing these. It's really nice to see a lot of short passing options, pass and move, little flick-ons. So again, now everyone's matched up. This time, does Pickford go long this time? Nope. Goes to Keane, very comfortable in possession, goes out wide to Mikalenko, unchallenged, but doesn't want to progress too far up, so cuts back to Doucouré, who switches to Ashley Young. Harrison doing well. Ashley Young through the channel there. So the question from Amanda Stevens, one of our premium subscribers, and again, thank you for your contribution. Who would I change at the moment? It's a little bit tricky. I think what I would do in about 10 minutes is probably take off the likes of Doucouré, but he has been winning a lot of possession back. But at some point, I think his lack of composure on the ball is going to hurt us. And I would probably bring him in for Oro Mangala. The other consideration, if they're worried about Ndiaye not having as much match fitness and playing 90 minutes that often, maybe Mangala comes in for him. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Armstrong, but he's not as familiar with coming into a Premier League match and trying to steady the ship rather than throwing a lot of energy at it. So I think he wouldn't come on right now. I'd say maybe Mangala. So the panic defending, Amanda, I've seen that too. It's more so just some short clearances here at about 66 minutes and 50 seconds. Again, fortunate for us, we might be giving the ball away cheaply, but they're not able to break us down at the same time. Dwight McNeil on it. He has Ndiaye as a passing option. Doucouré, nice one-touch pass to Ashley Young. Back to a deep playing Tarkovsky, switching to Pickford. This is a good way of stretching out Ipswich as well out of possession. So if we have the ball, we'll save on legs if we can just force Ipswich to chase us at the back. And they're not bringing up enough players to really press and win possession that often. Are Everton perfectly composed? No, but they are looking quite comfortable at the moment. And again, Notil, yeah, 3-0 sets it, but and all I'm waiting for is the second we start to see tired legs, what changes, because right now we have enough in the bag to hold on, but it's no. And to Corey's point, right now, as long as if we have the same intensity throughout this match, I don't actually see an issue. We're the better squad right now. Yes, if they have the ball, occasionally we're doing some poor clearances, but Ipswich in possession aren't doing a whole lot with it, and Everton are doing a really good job forcing turnovers. It's either a poor Ipswich or a good Everton or somewhere in between. They had a quick little throw in there between Delap and Calvin Phillips, who rode the back of Tarkovsky, knocking him over, but it didn't really matter because Pickford has the ball and is now looking for passing options. Was going to choose to throw it, keeps changing his mind. I'm sure he's about to kick it long or receive a yellow card if he's not careful. Rolls it down to his feet and then does a long ball. Slightly overhit to DCL, who was challenged by Woodfrinden. Wolfenden again finding his new right back option that was not O'Shea, but Harry Clark in this case, looking for a passing lane. Everton have shutting down the passing options. He does find Hutchinson, who's come out wide right, but to no avail, and they're starting again. McNeil chasing in support with DCL, who's chasing down Calvin Phillips, who overhits the ball to Leif Davis, who goes to Jack Clark and wins a throw-in. So throw in to Calvin Phillips, switches out wide right to Hutchinson, who's playing a lot more advanced on the right now, taking on Ndiaye. Cuts on his right side, but it was a low grass cutter, and Mikolenko covers. And a very good block there because he did not knock it out for a corner kick. Right by the corner flag, though, is a throw-in. So again, Harry Clark now has the ball right by Everton's defensive left flag. 2 more substitutions coming off. So Jack Clark is now off the pitch for number 23, who is Sammy Smodics, and waiting for the next name here. So James Garner will be out for a little while, Amanda. It sounded like he had a back injury, which sounds remotely similar to what happened to him last season, but we expect, unfortunately, he'll be out for a little while. So Phillips and Jack Clark are both off, which I'm waiting for my sofa score to update to tell me who, in addition to Smodics, has come on. Other scores from around the grounds. Man United are still up 2-1 against Brentford. Brighton are up 1-0 against Newcastle. Southampton are down to 10 men, and the score is 2-2. Fulham at Craven Cottage are down 3-1 and are down to 10 men against Aston Villa. And Everton, thanks to the first goal from Iliman Ndiaye and a second goal from Michael Keane in that first half, are up 2-0. Ipswich haven't had the answers so far, but they have now subbed on 4 players, 2 sets of 2. Pickford giving a bit of flack to Mikolenko, not really sure what for. But at the moment, and maybe it's just saying switched on, Everton have had the answers. They have not been able to break us down, but it's a matter of time if we're not careful and we get tired legs and we let it creep in, where we have to look at substitutes. But for right now, especially after a week off, Everton are right up for this. Doucouré got contact in the back of his head. He's rolling around on the ground. Looks like a frustrated Ipswich player. I'm not sure. I have to look back at this, but was that a bookable offense? Let's have a look. So Delap jumps up. Doucouré is holding his face, but that was shoulder to shoulder primarily. So I'm not sure why, unless he's just trying to con the referee. I'm not sure that's a bookable offense at all. A little bit of elbow in the back, maybe. Yeah, Peter's feeling worried about saying by the time it happens, it'll be the wrong one. What I'm really struggling with right now, Peter, is who would we bring on? Yes, we can say Mangala. I would not bring on Seamus Coleman because defensively we seem quite solid, but again, we're starting to get a little bit leggy, and you can see Dyche saying bring up the field, give some options. DCL, okay, here we go. DCL to Iliman Ndiaye. McNeil's starting to look a little bit flat-footed, so maybe we swap him out. Maybe that's the option here. Doucouré looking quite comfortable, passing back to Ashley Young. A pass back to Pickford. Keane as a passing option, doesn't use him. Goes back to Tarks. Ndiaye to Iliman Ndiaye, who's now playing in the 10 spot more often, which is giving Mykolenko more width out on the left. McNeil has it now. He has Ndiaye as an option. He takes on 2 and wins a free kick. Ndiaye just having Ipswich out for dinner right now. Just every time he touches the ball, if he wants to, he'll just cut through 2 and cut in, and Ipswich just can't handle it. So, again, another moment of class from Iliman Ndiaye. I think what we need to find a way, and I think Harrison and McNeil I haven't seen as much from in the last 10 minutes, or last 5 maybe. So really, I think maybe it's Harrison for the likes of Nathan Patterson, or we have Coleman coming in right back and Young to right midfield. Doucouré, that was an opportunity right there. There was Taki won the first touch, knocked it back to Doucouré, but was not able to have a strike. In my view, I think Doucouré's done enough right now. Oh no. And Ndiaye's down on the ground looking injured. I'm not sure what the deal is. We're going to have to see that on replay. Was it a foul? Was it a pulled hamstring? Not sure what's going on, but he does not look good on the ground there. Mykolenko has possession. A ball down the line there towards DCL. It appears that Iliman Ndiaye is still on the ground, so still waiting to hear what's going on there. A strike, powerful, but over the bar from Liam Delap. So waiting to see some kind of coverage on what's going on to Ndiaye. Looks like he may have gotten corked on his gluteus maximus or something. Let's have a look. Oh, okay. Now this might be it's going to be a painful one. There was an elbow to the back, and Delap, who's been quite physical and lucky not to have gotten a yellow card from his antics, but no red card by any means. But looks like he studded the back of an ankle and elbowed Ndiaye while being physical. But it's a surprise we're not seeing yellow cards coming out for Delap, who's looking quite frustrated and out of his options. Yeah, McNeil's been blowing. I haven't seen much of Harrison either. I think that would be the option right now. The only question is I don't really want to take Doucouré out of his deep role because he has been winning a lot of possession there. Do we go to a 4-3-2-1 and do that kind of Christmas tree formation? Maybe. So Peter thinks that was on purpose. I have to look back. It didn't look. It looked more intentional than unintentional, to Peter's point. I would say he should have been getting a yellow for that. A red card would have been extreme, but he's been getting away with a lot of physicality, and sometimes strikers who get annoyed start getting rash challenges, but Michael Oliver hasn't really stamped down on that physicality right now. So Corey thinks maybe it's a time for Mangala and Coleman. So if that's the case, what I really would actually like to see if we did bring in Coleman would be Ashley Young comes to right midfield. Maybe Harrison comes off, or Harrison comes into the 10 and McNeil comes off, because McNeil is looking. Occasionally he has a run, but he is not tracking back as much as he was before. But he's also in that sometimes thankless role of the second striker out of possession. That's a lot of running. And I think he needs a bit of a break, honestly. I think he's done his part. We need to bring in someone in the midfield, but we're just not seeing it. That was sloppy from Idrissa Gana-Gueye. Delap. Hutchinson comes in on his left looking for a strike and overhit. They say it was deflected off Michael Keane. Gana-Gueye looking a bit leggy too. We need to see Mangala, I think, on. I'm just not sure what the system is, because McNeil and Harrison I have not seen enough of right now, and Everton are looking leggy. We just really need to come up with something. We're looking... Yeah, and Peter, I think he deserves a yellow, and I think Amanda agrees with you. So an awkward clearance there between Taki and Pickford. Comes out to Hutchinson right on the edge of the 18-yard box. Morsey passes back, and now it's number 23 on their left side. crosses. He wins the header and over the bar. Delap was not able to do enough with it. Or was that Burgess? No, it was Cameron Burgess. So wasn't able to do enough with that. But the legs of Ipswich, as we know, Everton need to make a sub. Before we were looking comfortable, and now we're looking leggy. I think I'm screaming now to we need to see Mangala and probably Coleman in or someone to help show up defensively. I'm not sure I want to see Armstrong right now. And to Nautil's point, let's dig deep. We still have probably a good 15 minutes to go in this one. And there haven't been any goals to slow us down. But let me check on some of the scores around the fixtures and see if I can update the ticker. Leicester have now gone up ahead. They are now up 3-2 to a 10-man Leicester City. So it's 3-2 there. Brighton is still holding a 1-0 lead. United are holding Brentford at 2-1. Aston Villa have now dealt with a red card, but are still up 3-1. And Everton, as we know, are up 2-0 against... How am I forgetting? I'm watching this. Ipswich. So let's see who scored the next goal. So Jordan Ayew in the 8th minute of extra time against Southampton has scored. But let's go back to this Ipswich and Everton match. We have Hutchinson again out wide right, been taken on by Mikalenko. Excellent pressure. They call it a I'm not sure that was a Mikalenko wasn't challenging it, but it looked like it was just a poor strike, a poor cross, but looks like they're saying it was deflected off him for a corner kick. So it's a corner on the which is going to be a left out swinger from Leif Davis. Let's see, we've got Hurst, Chaplin, Wolfenden, all challenging in the middle there with Michael Keane. It's a short one. Oh, that was lucky for Everton. Number 10 was free. We need some subs. We need some subs right now. Come on. Where are they? We have not seen a sub. And this is a live updated screen here, ladies and gentlemen. So if you see that little blue kind of like wheel there, that shows that Liam Delap has been subbed off, Jack Clark, Wes Burns, Dara O'Shea. So we have a lot of players from four subs now for Ipswich and none for Everton. And yes, there are quite a few tired players. So let's see. Looks like someone said about time. Darren Hayward, you might be slightly further ahead from me, but we're here at 80 minutes and 36 seconds. The Portman Road faithful looking a little bit underwhelmed. I see Oro Mangala about to come on, so excellent. And Iliman Ndiaye being taken off. Again, a little bit surprising why they're choosing Ndiaye, because he's maybe it was that sore spot off the back of his ankle, but so you're saying they made 5. Let me check that. At least maybe I'm misreading it. Oh, so Wes Burns, Dara O'Shea, Liam Delap, Jack Clark, and Calvin Phillips. Yeah, my apologies there. Yeah, Darren, there's a good chance. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the NBC/Peacock here in the States have a 1-minute time delay and it saves money from not being technically live, but that's what I got. Why Ndiaye? I honestly don't see why, other than if we are trying to be physical and large-bodied. Iliman Ndiaye is not going to be able to defend set pieces, but he is very good at challenging and taking players on. So if we're just dropping deep for the final 10 minutes, which is not the right move in my opinion, that's why they're doing it. And to Peter's point, I think this was a wrong substitution. What I really wanted to see was McNeil off and bringing on the likes of Coleman as a right back, and then bringing Ashley Young to the right midfield position, because he's actually been playing quite well. Looks like a free kick. Oro Mangala confused on what happened there, so going to show a replay. So Chaplin shielding the ball, and Mangala had his hands over his shoulders, and he fell over like a sack of potatoes. A bit weak, but the call has been given. It's 82 minutes and 17 seconds. It's going to be an in and out swinging free kick for Leif Davis. All of Everton behind the ball here, one hand up. Crosses Taki wins the header, comfortable. But still in play. Wolfenden lets it go out for a throw-in, so now it's on Everton's left defensive side here. Yes, we absolutely have to dig deep. We don't have the squad depth from what I'm watching to see who would be the right pick, but we've been screaming for Mangala to come on, but taking off Ndiaye was not the right move. Harrison doing some good defensive duties here at the back post as a clearance and knocking it all the way to Muric, who then passes to Burgess, to Wolfenden. But Ipswich are now playing a bit more advanced after they took off the likes of Calvin Phillips. So they've got more numbers behind the ball here. Hutchinson has a lot of legs in him. McNeil did just enough defensively to help out Mikalenko. A poor clearance from Mikalenko. Oh, no. Okay, that was fine. That was off the ball. I couldn't tell. A pass to Doucouré, going back to McNeil. Harrison doing a running charge against Leif Davis. Falls over, and Leif Davis has won the ball back. Cuts into the middle. Sam Morsey on it now to Cameron Burgess. Everton have time to regroup. They're out on wide on Ipswich's left. Little 1-2. Crosses up and over. Hutchinson has the ball here with Mikalenko. There's a cross. Everton are just getting completely outrun at the moment. You can just tell they're dying on their legs. You can't fault the players. They're doing everything they can, but we don't have squad depth in some respects where I wouldn't want to bring on the likes of Patterson really in that right midfield position, but maybe we just need to bring Coleman on to steady the ship. Maybe we play 5 at the back and Coleman's a right centre back, something, because our front 4 are just completely out. I'm not sure if he was injured, Al, but he was not in the starting lineup. But I did not hear anything either. Maybe this is maybe we hear it on post-match, assuming that Everton don't have other things to talk about, and we hold on for a 2-0 lead. Hutchinson has been the most enthusiastic player for them, kind of on that right side. They're claiming a foul or a handball, nothing given. Mikalenko should have cleared it, doesn't. Hutchinson wins the ball back. Morsey goes back to the centre half in Burgess. Back to Morsey. Everton are playing a very low block now. Long ball, unchallenged, cleared by Young. DCL on a chance here. Gets bundled over and wins a foul. This is excellent. Come on, you Blues. Let's see. So we're now at 85 minutes and 22 here. I know for the likes of Darren and some others watching on Optus Sports, which should be in Australia, that you're probably a little bit ahead of me, but I'm here at 85 minutes and 40 seconds. I'll keep tabs on the final results around the grounds. We have Brighton 1 against Brighton have won 1-0 away at Newcastle. Leicester won late against Southampton. Man United won 2-1 against Brentford. Villa won 3-1 against Fulham. So the ticker appears to be correct as of now. But that win for Leicester is huge for them and troublesome for Southampton, who were up 2-0, which must be devastating. Oro Mangala goes out wide right. Ashley Young crosses. DCL, oh, that cross was just too much behind him for him to contort his body back and swing from it to turn right and swing left. So hands up for the right idea. Ashley Young has done quite well. Do you think Jake O'Brien will ever get a chance? Peter Duggan, as a response, says probably not. What you would expect to see is if Michael Keane is injured or Taki is injured to the point that he has no glutes left and he's walking without a backside, then maybe we see him. But is he tried and true? When this is a perfect example of it right now. Everton are dead on their feet, but he doesn't trust bringing on anyone, not even Coleman, who can jump in at a moment's notice to shut down this match. They're not trusting almost anyone other than Oro Mangala. I expect maybe we'll see Beto in 5 minutes, but that's about it. Dwight McNeil wins the ball back. Doucouré playing out wide right. DCL, a passing option. He's completely isolated at the moment, taking on 5, 6, 7 Ipswich players. Harrison and McNeil ran up and the ball was turned over, so now they're tiredly running back. So we've got 7 defenders behind the ball and the 2 wingers and the striker on their way back. Hutchinson comes back into the middle towards Morsey. To Burgess. Yeah. I will say I don't like Pawson either, but you have to give credit where credit's due for the correct decision on that VAR in that first half. But at least I'm here on 88 minutes. I imagine Darren Hayward's going to give a slightly earlier anticipation of what the extra time is, but we'll find out here soon enough. But for me here anyway, it's 88 minutes and 20 seconds. Pickford has kicked the ball. To Reggie's point, yes, Keane's goal was outstanding. I think in the last 20 minutes, Everton have not been good enough. We don't have the substitutes to play what Dyche has we've shut down this team, Ipswich, for the first 75 minutes, and we have not had the legs to continue it, but we do not seem to have... Oh, was Pawson the 4th official? Okay, I thought he was VAR, but maybe I'm wrong. To that point, who is the VAR today, Peter, or anyone else that's on the chat? The strike or Pickford does just enough. Just not enough potency on that strike from... I'm struggling with the Ipswich bench right now. Apologies. But Pickford did just enough on the save. Oh, okay. So Taylor was the one striking. It went between Tarky's legs, and Pickford dove to his bottom right-hand corner. We're now on 89 minutes and 30 seconds, at least on my clock. Everton still holding a comfortable, but not an Everton comfortable lead of 2-0. We've only had the one sub of Oro Mangala, and Everton look dead on their feet, especially up front. The only sub has been Iliman Ndiaye, which has led Everton to play a 4-3-2-1 instead of a 4-2-3-1. And Mangala, Garnegay and Decore have been playing central. Garnegay has the ball now here in 90 minutes. Goes McNeil, one-time touch. Decore does what he can, but it was a poor, tired touch from McNeil. Turned over. Mangala goes to Harrison, who's taking on 3 players in isolation. Leif Davis cutting him down. Well chased from Harrison, but he looks dead in his feet too. He should really be subbed off. So it looks like we're getting 4 minutes of extra time. We're at 4 minutes and 26 seconds. So 4 to 5 minutes left unless any major updates happen. Ipswich is still playing quite deep, though, having 4 behind the ball. Garnegay is the most advanced now next to DCL. Everyone else is really playing a low block. But you can just tell the wingers have been completely gassed. You can't blame McNeil for being gassed at this point. He's been doing so much chasing off the ball. But we need to sub him off. Hutchinson to the back post. Again, to, who was it? Darren's point, that was exact. Taylor was completely free. A good team would have scored a few of these now. We just don't have the legs to mark on the back post right now. Throughout the rest of this match, we have Ashley Young, in this case, didn't jump up for that and left relatively unopposed. The Everton fans are looking quite pumped. It's starting to get pretty close to score 2 goals late. And seeing some fist up in the air, probably screaming Spirit of the Blues if I'm any prediction, if I was to predict what they're screaming. But who knows? Maybe there's a Michael Keane chant going on. Maybe there's Iliman Ndiaye. Let's see. Still playing a really deep formation here, Ipswich, which is really interesting at this point, being down 2-0. But Everton win the ball back. Harrison chasing. Again, Harrison has been less impactful, but still challenging this entire time and wins a cheap free kick. Fell over, and the Ipswich players looking bemused at how that was a free kick. Burgess takes on, looks like he made contact with the right calf of Harrison, but I wouldn't have called that a free kick. Garnegay challenging, passes it back, just enough on it. Hutchinson nearly got there, but Keane there first. Kaki looks wiped out and they didn't call a free kick. Ashley Young taken down the right side. He looks to have wiped out. And instead of giving a free kick to either Everton player, they're just calling for offside. And now Sammy Smodix has given Ashley Young flack. I'm not sure what's going on here. I think I'll need to hear audio commentary on what happened, but were they calling it simulation? What are they doing? So Taylor knocked Ashley Young. That was a terrible call by the referee. I mean, unless it's saying that Ashley Young was simulating the contact and trying to have a fight, he made almost no contact with the Ipswich player. Does not make sense to me why that's a yellow card. Just a poor decision that feels like you would win. Oh, no, it was to Taylor. Sorry. It was her. Again, the audio is tricky. So it was actually not against Ashley Young. That makes a lot more sense because Ashley Young won that ball and didn't seem to make much contact at all. So Muric is going out wide to their right fullback, the number 2. He cuts inside, but we're now at 93 minutes and 30 seconds. One back by Ora Mangala, shielded by Ghana Gay. Mangala gets tackled. So Everton again trying to be quick on this. Going forward, now Jack Harrison running the ball. DCL is in on goal. Oh, Muric saved it again. That's about the 4th foot save for Muric. I guess Muric has DCL's number after last season, making a fool out of him. That was an excellent run with in the 94th minute of this one. Can't believe it. But the result is over. It is 2-0. Fantastic. I don't have Spirit of the Blues as a audio track, but I would certainly sing it otherwise. Great result in the end. The concern that we always have of Everton doesn't have a bench, we don't substitute enough, was absolutely the case on a different match. I truly think we would have been done in at least 1 goal. We also were fortunate that Jack Clark didn't score his chance early, but the reality is Everton generally had the answers. And to Peter Duggan's point, we didn't have the legs at the end, but we generally had the answers when we had fitness. And even when they brought on all of their 5 subs, I don't really think they broke us down that often, other than we couldn't keep up with them. And thank you for joining us, everyone. I appreciate your feedback on the commentary. And these can sometimes be quite wearing hours of content, but winning 2-0 makes it a little bit easier. So, yeah, welcome, Sean. And glad you guys all enjoyed the watch-along. I think it might be Ryan and Corey. I'm going to go... Well, it's a little bit easier in America because the time zone starts at 9 a.m. versus a little bit later on. It's interesting. We're seeing Clark and Davis complaining with the referee. I'm not sure what they're complaining about. They weren't good enough today. Appreciate everyone's following along. We've had a good 800 live for what seems like hours now, which is absolutely fantastic for us here. For those that do like this content, we do have some premium some premium subscribers. I'm losing my chain of thought here. So you'll see little icons like this on the content. You might, if you're on YouTube, you might see an Everton emblem on it. So if you do want to get involved in the channel, I'm not saying you have to get Chris to fly me to America for another watch along or anything of that nature, but this is a way for us to pay the StreamYard bill, as well as me on the content I do. You might see from time to time where I'm doing video analysis on these results. I do that through a German software, which costs a bit of money to me. So any of the contributions that you guys do, which would be like the VIP membership through YouTube, does help the channel there. But for those that are watching on Facebook and X as well, thank you for watching on that channel. But the way that the channel is going to grow more is not going to be typically through X or Facebook. It's through YouTube, where we get the ad revenue and the subscriber base that way. But if you're watching, that would be a way to jump on through that link at Follow Everton. But again, a great crowd following today, so really appreciate the the fan base here watching along, and for everyone that maybe you were an Ipswich fan. I appreciate everyone that was involved today. And until next time, up the Toffees.